on here right now. I'm letting, yep. So I'm very excited right now to be live with Dylan Williams of Williams CPA. I reached out this morning on Facebook, and I found out or heard that Dylan is rolling out these webinars. There's so much fear right now, out there among, especially small businesses, people that have lost their jobs. And I'm sure there's a lot of misinformation as well. So Dylan is going to tell us about the webinars that they're coming up with. And, so let's get right into it, Dylan. Tell me again how all this started and what you guys are offering.
Absolutely. So as this COVID-19 situation began to break out, there was a lot of uncertainty, I'm sure that all of us felt, about what does this mean for our own businesses? What does this mean for our jobs? What does this mean for the community? And so pretty quickly, we started getting a lot of questions from clients, from non-clients, from individuals, from those that we prepare tax returns for, do bookkeeping for as well, accounting, payroll, things like that. And so, we got to thinking, why don't we put together some resources with panelists who can do deep dives in each of these areas? There are so many topics, so many questions involved. The time it would take for us to dive deep into every one, by the time we've got the information, it would be irrelevant at that point. So we started reaching out to professionals, HR attorneys, individuals with the Small Business Administration, local chamber, and just started planning some webinars on the topics that we were having clients ask us questions about. So we rolled out our first one last Friday. We had 85 in attendance locally, as well as throughout the nation, attendees throughout the nation.
Wow.
And it was basically just COVID-19. What do employers with less than 50 employees do? What does it mean for them? We had Jason Taylor, an HR attorney, was the panelist on that one. And we got really good feedback, really good response, a lot of great questions from the attendees. It's actually up at our website, williamscpa.us/webinars. So you can actually go and you can view that webinar. And we've got a couple of the upcoming ones listed. We've got a couple that we're still working on right now. We're going to be doing one on Wednesday that deals with healthcare for employers and how does that affect things with your employees. If somebody takes a leave of absence, if someone gets laid off, who pays for that? Do you go to COBRA? Does the employer pay for a lot of questions and whatever questions the attendees ask as well? And so we got that coming up Wednesday. Thursday morning, it's not listed yet, but we've actually got a contact with the U.S. Small Business Administration that was floated to us by Thomas County Chamber of Commerce. Andrew over there floated this one to us. And so we're going to be talking about stimulus. We're going to be talking about loans for small businesses. That's the biggest question we're getting right now is, I hear in the stimulus, I might be able to get a loan as a business owner that will end up being forgiven.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a host of resources on that. And so we'll probably address that.
So Dylan, what is the answer to that question? Or is it too broad and too many details?
No, absolutely. So so the first question is, who's eligible? And just real briefly, small business with fewer than 500 employees, some 501c3s, nonprofits with fewer than 500 employees, or an individual who operates as a sole proprietor. That's one of the big questions. I'm a sole proprietor. I don't have employees. Could I qualify for this forgivable loan?
Yeah.
In some cases, absolutely. Independent contractors as well. Tribal business concerns that meet the Small Business Association size and standard. And so basically, what they're doing is the government is releasing $385 billion, and local banks are going to loan this money out to businesses. And without getting too deep into the weeds, a business will be able to apply for 2.5 times 8 weeks worth of pay, basically, that they're paying their employees. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, once that's all done, they can then apply for this loan to be forgiven up to 100% of the principal that was taken. And so there's a whole calculation on that: payroll taxes, health insurance benefits paid. rent potentially, or lease, mortgage on a lease. I'm trying to think what else. Interest on mortgage, things like that can potentially be forgiven. And so, I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for small businesses.
How do businesses apply for this?
Yep. So this is something you actually do with your bank. And so some banks are going to be a part of this program, I'm guessing, and some won't. From what I understand, they're really going to be focusing on local banks, because local banks kind of have their finger on the pulse of the local businesses and should be able to vet, hopefully fairly quickly. We are reaching out to actually today, we've been reaching out to local banks in our area saying, number one, are you going to be involved in this program? And number two, do you have a checklist that the client can work through? With our clients, the ones that we handle payroll for, we're telling them we'll assemble information for you. We'll get your payroll reports together. We'll get the tax returns that they need. You get us a checklist that your bank wants, and we'll get you that information.
Wow. So even if they're not your client, then they can come to you and you will help get them together what they need to be able to apply, correct?
Absolutely. Now, for those that are our client, we're doing this as a courtesy.
Awesome.
For others that come to us, there would be a fee associated with that, but we try to keep that fee minimal. And, if we can expedite that time for them to get the loan, I mean, at the moment, there's limited funds, right? So every business in America decides to go for this loan. There's not going to be enough money.
It's going to be like when they dropped the interest rates a couple of weeks ago.
Everybody
ran to get
locked it in on the right day, but a lot of people miss that opportunity. So this is not something you want to sit back and wait. This is something you want to find out if you qualify. The big thing is, am I eligible? The big question is there a going concern? Is there a current concern that if you don't get this financial help, that your business could be significantly harmed as a result of what's going on? And if you believe that's the case, then you're a great candidate for this.
Yeah. So they need to go ahead and contact you or their bank to find out if they're part of that program.
Yeah. So what we're recommending is talk to your bank first.
Okay.
And if your bank doesn't participate, find a bank that does, get the checklist, see us or see someone else who can help you with that.
Yeah. I wonder if there'll be like somebody whose bank does participate will have a leg up over somebody who's banking with somebody who's not.
Absolutely. And that's we were talking about that as a team today.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me that a bank would do this, because I would envision, and I don't know if there's anything barring this, but typically if you get a business loan with a bank, they're going to require you to do banking with them as well. So it's an opportunity for a bank.
Yeah.
To
get some new business. Yeah. So I'm looking over here at the names of your webinars. There's the one Monday, How to Succeed with Your Health Insurance by Navigating the Short-Term, Long-Term Effects of COVID-19. Yep. You've got one on April 2nd, Leading Through Chaos, Best Practices and Strategies to Protect Your Business in Turbulent Times. April 7th, Cybersecurity Concerns during the coronavirus outbreak.
Look, real quick on that one, if I was a hacker, right now is when I would be going into overdrive, because so many people are accessing high sensitive information from their home computers. You don't want to miss that one. Paul Haig's going to talk about things that you can do in order to be careful.
Awesome. See, I didn't even think about that. Yep. And then you've got this one on April 9th, Demystifying SEO, how doing these 12 things will dramatically improve your search positioning and drive traffic to your website. Absolutely. That's one I want to be on.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's my brother up in Ohio he's an SEO guru. So search engine optimization. I mean, he's put a lot of businesses in Thomasville and throughout the country on the map when it comes to search engine optimization and ranking. And so he's just gonna break the code on that, just to lay it out. Here are some things that you can do in order to drive yourself up. So that's a great one. We're gonna try to fit one in next week or the week after. That's actually gonna be something about networking in quarantine. And we got Bill Keene with BNI is actually gonna be talking about how do you network when you're in quarantine.
Yeah.
We've got a local business coach, Robbie McGee, who's gonna be Probably, I'm thinking on the 10th, we're going to do one that deals with preserving cash flow. It's going to be bigger than the COVID-19. This is going to be how do you handle cash flow? How do you prepare with cash flow to get through these difficult times?
Yeah.
And then
So that next time, if this kind of thing happens, you're ready.
Absolutely. Yep.
It's so funny because I've been saying I wonder what things will not go back to normal once all this has died down. And one of the things that I'm thinking may not is we may be doing a lot more online networking.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because I've been on calls with people all last week, and it's amazing. Well, obviously, look at the masses, the numbers we can get information out to by doing it in this way.
Well, here's a couple practical things, and who knows, maybe we'll do a webinar on this. The ideas just keep coming, but when you're sitting around a table with people at a meeting, there's a couple of things that happen. Number one, there's a lot of wasted time chit-chatting. Number one. Number two, most people don't have immediate access to all the information they need. They're relying on one person with a keyboard and a mouse, projecting up. And if they want to access info, they got to pass it around. Yeah. The great thing, and you got to travel to, you got to travel from. The great thing about this online networking is one, you've got your computer. I've got 4 screens here, so I got 3 screens of data while I'm talking.
Yeah.
Number two is you cut out the chit chat. When you got multiple people on a video feed, you silence the microphones. You got one person talking, and then you don't have to travel back and forth. Yeah. Meetings tend to be shorter when you're online. When you sit in a boardroom, you tend to kind of go on and on. But online is let's do this. Let's get this done in 30 minutes. Everybody's got stuff planned on the calendar, and so
it's definitely much more efficient for sure. Absolutely. So one of the things that Dylan mentioned to me is that if you guys have any questions or topics, you can post them here in the comments, but also you've got a resource. How can they ask you questions, Dylan, or let you know some topics that you might be able to talk about?
Absolutely. So we're looking for relevant topics. We're looking for the topics that you all are asking the questions about to do webinars on. And so you can actually email webinars@williamscpa.us. It's webinars@williamscpa.us. And if we start getting the same question multiple times, then we're going to look for a panelist and we're going to put together a webinar on that, because that's what's relevant to people. That's what we want to talk about.
Yeah. And also dispel rumors and make sure that people are getting the correct information. So what we will do is I will put that information in the in this post. So how you can email Dylan. Also, there will be a link to these webinars. Don't worry if you miss them, right? Because they're going to be available to watch ongoing.
Within 24 hours, we'll have it posted up.
Okay, awesome. And one more thing I wanted to ask. So in these webinars, are they able to ask questions in real time?
Absolutely. So we've got a question. We're actually using GoToMeeting. So we've got a question queue so they can type their question in, and then me or someone else who's moderating that webinar will then present those to the panelists. So we usually leave 10 to 15 minutes at the end. So people who have to bug out can bug out, but those who want to hear the answers to the questions can ask or hear the answers to questions.
Yeah. So even if you don't own a business, it sounds like there's a lot that you guys are rolling out that are relevant to it's some area of our lives. So y'all just be sure to stay on top of when these webinars are. I'll help get the word out. Is there anything else before we go today, Dylan, that you think that what should we all know during this time or be looking for? Any advice you can give us?
Absolutely. I think when we have moments where things slow down and we have more time to think, this is an opportunity to be creative and to come up with ideas. I believe there's going to be a lot of people who come out of this and say, you know what, I can start my own business. And I would say take some time, go to the drawing board, listen to webinars, get information, figure out what it takes to take what you're passionate about and to put it into a service that you can actually charge money for. And then if you decide you want to go down that road, come and talk to us and we'll see what we can do or dial us up digitally and we'll see what we can do to help you out.
I already own my business, but you're inspiring me. Okay, well, you guys, like I said, I'll have all this information in the post. Dylan, I appreciate it. This is, really exciting. exciting to know that it doesn't end here, that we're going to be getting some more good information from you guys. So if y'all have any questions, let us know, and I'll direct you to the guy that knows more than me right now. Okay, guys, thank y'all so much for listening, and hope to chat with y'all again soon. Thanks, Dylan. I appreciate you. All right, bye-bye.